welcome to another episode of the Get With It podcast. Little different today. It's like really, really early. And when I say that, it's 9 a.m. So no fun drinks unless somebody brought Bailey's or Kahlua for beverages. I didn't. Did you? No. Okay.
No, we were suggesting bourbon earlier, but
you did. Yeah. That's a little harsh for this early in the morning. So
it's like liquid ham and eggs.
It is. It is. So, all right, we have Bart Weaver here at the end. Wave.
Hello.
Okay, we have Charles Kennedy.
Hello.
Who likes to be called Charlie.
Yep.
And Brian the Man Link.
That is not my middle name, but
It
hello.
is your middle name. It's hyphened. Okay, and these gentlemen all have interesting backgrounds. I'm just throwing that out there because I'm sure y'all do. And
He's very kind.
And now they have.
Well, you're the man, after all.
The man. They have an event coming up and a whole organization. We're going to talk about that, but we're going to start with who wants to start? I was going to throw Charlie under the bus.
You mind? Do it. Yeah, Charlie. He's talking more. Go ahead. Go.
Okay. Okay. Background.
So
in like a minute or less. No, okay. I'm just kidding.
3 or 4 sentences.
I'm just an old guy that discovered Agile along the way and worked on my first Agile transformation with Nationwide back in 2007.
That's my new gig right now.
Is it? All right.
My new gig.
Awesome.
I'm in Plaza 2.
Okay.
9th floor. They redid the 9th floor, so I got all brand new furniture and everything. I can't complain.
I was on the 14th floor, just before I left.
Oh, really?
With the digital group.
Oh, all right.
So anyway, but I digress.
We will a lot.
Okay.
No worries.
But anyway, worked on multiple Agile transformations with Nationwide, most of which worked, some of which didn't. Bart's now trying to clean up the mess I left. And I moved to Huntington Bank recently and helping their digital organization with an Agile transformation.
Okay, so you're at Huntington.
Yep.
I bank with Huntington.
Good. Well, thank you.
It has its moments, but I will. You're welcome. Keeping him employed.
Yeah.
All right. And so how did you get, now make sure I say this right, Business Agility?
Business Agility Midwest.
Midwest. Okay. I knew there was an N there and I couldn't remember. Business Agility Midwest. How did you get involved? That's the group we're talking about.
It's a conference.
Isn't it a group?
Yeah.
It's a meetup.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
That
Columbus meetup group and conference.
Yeah.
That thing that he runs once a month, isn't that considered a group?
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Bart started the meetup.
Yeah.
And Brian had one too, and so Brian, why don't you tell the story?
Yeah, so we actually were both kind of doing the same thing. I had this breakfast meeting with a bunch of people showing up, talking about business agility stuff.
I came to the breakfast.
Actually, you did.
I
It was
did.
a little bit of a miracle, and we were glad that you were there.
Okay.
We had a handful of people that came, just chit-chatting in the morning. And then Bart and I kind of ran into each other. He was running one in the evening. We're like, why don't we just join forces?
Good
So
call.
I'll talk about business agility. So anyway, that's what we're doing.
Yep.
Okay. So, how'd you get involved?
Well, I work with Bart, and Bart and I have been partnering at Nationwide, had been partnering at Nationwide on some of the working with some of the organizations that we were trying to bring through an Agile transformation, most notably the digital organization, where we had a lot of success.
So, he just strong-armed you to get involved. You can just say it. You don't have to be nice.
No, Bart's a great guy to work with, and Brian and I actually worked together at a previous company many moons ago, and so we already knew each other, and then I was very happy when I discovered that they found each other and joined forces.
Oh my God, it's like a dating.
Really.
Like a dating network right here.
Really.
Matchmaking heaven.
It is. You're only 1 degree of separation from everyone in Columbus.
That's true. That is true. So.
That's true.
Okay, so now you already threw him under the bus. So you're cleaning up a mess at Nationwide because of Charlie.
It's not a mess. Just an evolution.
There you go.
We all just iterate anyway, right?
Exactly.
That's right. That is right. So Bart, you're at Nationwide. Where were you before that? Or have you always been at Nationwide?
No, I haven't. Actually, this is my second stint at Nationwide. I actually started at Nationwide out of school, but then I went to work for a couple of lean manufacturers, and the last one being Abbott. So I feel like a lot of the things that we do with end-to-end Agile or agility were kind of born with what I learned, and I was very comfortable with it because I had done that for so many years in these manufacturing environments. But went to Nationwide and was lucky enough to work for Charlie.
Oh, did you see that? He was nice.
No. It was great.
Oh.
So, and Charlie, when we went down this agility path in digital, it was Charlie asked, he needed a coach, and so I volunteered because I thought maybe I could do that job, and so it just kind of turned from there. But it's been a great journey, that's for sure. Nationwide.
Where are you at?
I'm right now. I actually work for the R&T organization at Nationwide, it's the Requirements and Test organization, but I'm on loan to many of the BSAs and the PNC organization. So I basically do some coaching. I've done coaching now for 3 or 4 organizations within PNC. So that's what I do.
Oh.
Kind of fun. And I also teach. I teach SAFE. So I'm a SPC. I know. But we are trying to use some of the SAFE classes foundationally. I think they're good for people that are just coming into, just to learn some of the concepts. And so we are teaching those classes to help, especially our business partners.
I see it on the inside.
You do?
Nationwide.
Yeah.
I do, and I'm like, oh look, Bart's busy teaching a class.
He is. It's fun to
Yes.
throw SAFE under the bus. But
It
there's
really
a lot of
is.
great things.
So the good news is Bart teaches SAFE, but then he teaches, here's how we do it in real life.
Exactly.
Oh, good.
That's
good.
the real value.
So, yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yes. So, we're hitting. Oh, wait. So, wait. Bart does the meetup for business agility.
Well, it's Brian. It's the 3 of us basically. We
The
have
3
meetup.
of you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was one this week. I missed it. There was a volleyball game. Sorry.
That's okay. We got one in October. Hopefully you can make it.
Hope so.
Charlie is there a lot of the time. Bart's making it a sport to kind of embarrass Charlie every time he's there.
Oh, I might
He
just.
talks about how great Charlie's been as a boss and
Wow.
all that. But yeah, Bart's pretty much the one-man show these days
He
with
is.
me traveling and Charlie being busy. So we try and get to him every time we can. But Charlie, we got Bart doing a lot of heavy lifting here in town, running a meetup,
Yep.
planning the conference.
It's tough. We're going to talk about that, and hopefully, people listening might reach out and want to volunteer and
That'd be
help
great.
in any
Yeah,
way.
happy
So.
to.
Okay, now the man,
I don't know where you got that nickname.
Brian, the man.
It's
Link.
all over the internet.
It is.
Yeah. I do. I have a lot of social media profiles, I'm just saying. I started off in consulting, like Charlie said. We actually worked together here in Columbus. Right out of Boston University, I was traveling all over the world doing consulting stuff. For first job was 12 years long. Felt like I was the coal miner of technologists, staying at the same place every year. Been telling my story a lot lately to the the folks that I'm consulting with at M&T Bank up in Buffalo. And it's funny, you think about your history. It's like, I didn't even know that I was doing some of the Agile stuff, like back before I even knew the
It had
words
a
and
word.
the lingo,
Yeah.
right? We did this fixed time, fixed price consulting,
Yep.
and it forced us to manage scope tightly. We used scope as the variable. We did small iterations. It's interesting that we kind of are doing all that and formalizing it,
Exactly.
20 some years later. Consulting led me into working at startups, and that's kind of where I really got involved with Agile. CTO of small little startups and medium-sized companies and whatnot, and stumbled into it. I was basically managing backlogs out of Excel spreadsheets at Dig when I hired a product owner from Yahoo, taught me how to do Agile, for real. So it was
For
fun.
realsies.
For real, yeah. We're just winging it out of
Didn't even need
spreadsheets.
SAFE.
We were definitely not safe. We were pushing code every day, though, which was fun.
That's awesome.
You want to know you got a bug in code? Put it in front of 1 million users, and you find out right quick whether you have any problems with it. You learn how to roll back some code real quick.
Yep.
But that experimentation was fun, and that was my lens through which I learned Agile was through that fast-paced startup mentality. And it was you could make mistakes real easy, but then we learned how to adapt really fast. And so that
Fail
was kind of-
fast.
yeah, we failed fast real well.
That's right.
Failed fast.
It was fun. It was so much fun. So now I just only just recently started doing agile coaching with like an actual title and stuff. I feel like I've been wearing the hat for a long time, but never actually putting it on a business card until fairly recently. Just a few years ago, I was at Chemical Abstracts, Enterprise Agile.
They're not called that
something
anymore.
or other. We call them CAS, but no one knows that yet. So I
They
call
do.
them- Do people they know it now?
So, funny story.
Oh, the big sign out front made it
Yeah, the
a little more obvious.
So they're our keynote speaker for the Get With It. Wait, Darren, when's this being released? By the way, it is Friday the 13th, and there is a full moon. So
That's why I spilled my coffee.
that's why
There
you
you go.
spilled your coffee all over the place. Okay, so we've already had the conference. Yay, it was a huge success.
Awesome.
And CAS.
And who was your keynote speaker?
Maureen Metcalf was the keynote speaker, and
Excellent.
then Terry Bettinger had a CIO panel at the end. Did you like that? How I like make it sound like it's already happened? So CAS was the keynote sponsor. And they made, I was told multiple times, they are not chemical abstracts, they're not
It is
CAS.
CAS.
It is CAS, and
That is right.
like everybody had to rehearse that.
That is correct. CAS.
CAS.
Really fun. Great place to work. Learned a lot about trying to do an awful lot of agile with a medium-sized company.
They're big data though, right? Like they.
Huge data.
Mm-hmm.
Huge data. Like the entire world's chemistry data.
I like to think that they have a big button over there that they could blow up the world at any moment if need be.
It's hidden in a patent somewhere, I
Yeah,
guarantee you.
I just feel like that it's there.
Yeah. Yep. So recently I've been working over at LeanDog as an agile coach. Like I said,
We
doing
have
it
to
for
talk
real.
about this LeanDog too, because they're on a barge in the water.
Oh yeah, our headquarters is a boat.
Is a boat, and I went to go visit, and the coolest place I think I've ever been in. And you know what's really funny is while I was there talking to the crew, some lady came in and she thought it was a restaurant.
Oh, it used to be a restaurant.
Yeah, and so she's like, "We'll have 4," and I was like,
Right this way.
I was
Right
like,
this way.
"What is happening?" And so then the lady gave me the backstory.
Just drop them off at the golf simulator and
Yeah.
I think they're waiting for a table for an hour.
Yeah, I was totally thrown off because I was like, "Wait a minute, did she just say 4?" And she's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'll explain it to you."
We have a
So,
good time. The LeanDog culture is pretty amazing. With a boat as your headquarters, our president will often introduce himself. Yeah, I work for LeanDog. We like to think weird. We like to be different. We get people on the boat and make them think different. We're weird.
I loved it. It was great.
It's a really good time.
Fantastic.
There's a Women in Agile Open being hosted on the boat in October by colleagues of mine.
Yeah, it's already happened.
Oh, it's already happened, October 7th. It was fantastic. It was a
the-
tremendous
it's the-
success.
It's the 4th and 5th, or is it the? I'll look it up.
It was.
You should probably look it up.
I'll look it up.
Put the little, there's a link with the
I'll look it up.
posting.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
But you're right, and I talked
Just search
to
for Women in Agile Open, you'll find it.
In
It's the
Cleveland.
first one of its kind.
Yeah.
In Cleveland.
It's like a very interesting concept too, because it's going to be a lot of open space and workshop-y kind of thing.
Yep. Yep.
So-
Unconference.
Yeah.
Bring your topic.
And dinner on a boat the night before. I mean, how
Couldn't
could
get better.
It couldn't get better.
It's really awesome.
I think I might quit Nationwide and go to go work for LeanDog. Just kidding, Nationwide. Just kidding. I'm just a contractor. I'm a gum on shoe there. Doesn't matter. All right. So, moving on to big conference coming up.
That's right.
Not the Get With It conference. We already had that. It was a huge success.
Yeah.
Yep.
November 6th and 7th.
November 6th and 7th. We're at the Fawcett Center.
Awesome.
How many people are we shooting for?
500.
500. So we're capping the Fawcett.
We're going to
Yep.
squeeze everyone we can into the largest room at the theater.
The
Holds
theater.
500. Therefore, that's our limit.
Actually,
Right.
hold 496.
497, I think.
Oh, 497. Okay.
We'll allow some standing room.
Yes, standing room. 3 people standing room. Happy to sell 3 extra tickets.
You could have people sit in the booth,
Ask Bart for a discount code.
the AV booth, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, there's room in the
Yeah. So.
sound booth.
Oh, if you have to stand, we
Side
get a
stage?
discount.
Yeah, there would definitely be a discount.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Good to know.
It'll be something stand and plus whatever the discount is.
He likes creating discount codes.
So, all right. So let's talk about this conference and what it is.
What is the conference, Bart?
So the conference, so I'm going to say this. First of all, it's been great to work with these two as we develop this conference because it's really important, I think, for me, and I'm going to tell my personal story. So Charlie and I actually presented in D.C., I don't know, it was probably a year and a half ago. So Charlie, would you say something like that? And the night before they had a party for basically the speakers, and I think some of the sponsors were there as well. But what was really interesting was that we had representation from, you had federal agencies, you had consulting groups, you had small businesses, large businesses, and it was very interactive. People were talking about, it was just it was a nice community, and I was sitting there thinking, we could probably do this in Columbus, and so that was kind of, to me, that was the genesis of my idea, and then just starting to get into knowing I really enjoyed being in the agility space and starting to meet great people like Charlie and Brian as we started to think about this. And basically we put heads together and said, you know what, wouldn't it be great to not only build a conference, but to start to continue to grow the Midwestern U.S. community. So taking that DC community and bringing it to the Midwest, because we do have some great markets. I think about, Detroit's a very strong agile marketing. These are things that I'm finding out as I talk with people in those different areas.
That automotive industry.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Who's our friend that was at dinner?
Scott.
Scott.
Yep. Showalter.
Was he sitting next to me?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He asked me if I wanted to come to Detroit. So I know he's doing it up there.
We've had a lot of people
Ford,
volunteer
right?
to help. It's great.
Ford.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. Huge
Scott's
transformation going on at Ford. And then Cincinnati's another market. So we've met some really great people in Cincinnati, and they're promoting our conference down there as well because it is about building that community. And what's interesting is that the ticket sales so far, many of them have been outside of Columbus with the markets that we're trying to build within the Midwest to build this community. So that really is our goal, is to not only have a conference and start to provide the uplift, especially to our business partners around business agility, but also to continue to grow this community in the Midwest, much like the East Coast has a very strong, as we all know, very strong agility community.
We're selfish. We just wanted it to be here in our backyard.
That's right.
Columbus has been in the news so much lately for big technology,
Columbus
startups.
is the new Silicon Valley.
Yep.
It's definitely cheaper.
Or Silicon Valley, same thing.
I like to call it.
I think it's
You
Los
gotta-
Angeles, but it's all
You
good.
you gotta not be so technical about your wording. You have to throw these things out so if anybody's listening, they go, "Wait,
Is
what?"
it silicone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
silicone.
That's awesome.
Yes.
But I think one of the things that was important to us is as we looked at other conferences, most of them have a very IT focus. And it's not just locally, but most of the ones that I see in this country and across the world are really very IT focused. And we've all bought into the notion of it's not just an IT thing. And we wanted to help build a community around that and grow the understanding of what is business agility and be able to help this local area, this part of the country, become a vibrant business agility community.
So funny you say that because I'm going to go back to what Brian said about how you were doing Agile before it really had a name, right? Before
I think a lot of us have. It's like there's
Correct.
common sense inside of
total common
Agile
sense.
processes.
I had the same thing when I worked at OSU. I worked with students and we had a whiteboard and it was like, this is what we need to do today. And we'd have stand up. And so when I came to the IT world, I'm like, oh, damn, I've been doing this for years.
I should have been paid more.
I should have been. Jeez. So with that being said, Bart here is he's been doing, as you said, the heavy lifting of this conference. Isn't conference planning a bitch?
I would have never have thought how difficult and how much time
It's
it takes
awful,
to do it.
isn't it?
When
It's
did you think we were going to launch the conference the first time? Like,
May.
Oh, we could do it in May.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought we could do it in like 4 months. Like,
Two,
oh yeah, we can do
3,
that.
4 months. We can just launch this conference. Like, oh,
No.
dude.
Not 500 people, you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a
Finding it out.
lot of logistics.
It's a pain in the ass, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm a lifelong learner though, so
Yeah.
it's good. It's good experience.
You'll learn something and then you'll fix it for next year and the year after, and there'll be something new. every
And I
year.
want to thank you too, because during our dinner you provided a lot of good information
Oh, I
that
gave
helped
him
me.
the secrets.
It was
That's right. He's
excellent.
going to outsource it to you next year.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's a side gig.
Let's
I got
combine
going on.
forces.
It's like, be careful what you get good at, Elizabeth.
I
like,
know,
some
right?
people ask and you're like, hey, how do I plan a conference?
Yeah, so I had somebody, a CIO here locally, call me and said, hey, so can you give me the inside scoop? And I was like, how do I say no to this guy, right?
I totally can for, $4 or $5 grand a day.
Yeah. He's a nice guy. But yeah, it's difficult, and people just think, if you've never done it, people just think you show up and there's like Tinkerbell there that magically
Yeah,
flutters
no.
out.
There's no Tinkerbell.
No Tinkerbell.
No magic.
And I think thinking through your agenda and potty breaks and people who have to make cell phone calls, and then you got to provide food, because if you don't provide food or coffee,
Right.
you got to have the coffee.
Gallons and gallons of
Yeah.
coffee.
Now, we want to make a strong impression. This is our first conference. We plan on keeping doing this every single year. We've been very fortunate to get some pretty top-line speakers to come in.
Okay, that's what we're
Literally
going to talk
flying in
about.
international speakers to come talk at our conference.
So this is
yeah.
a 2-dayer.
Today. But we actually, it's really, we have an event. We actually have 2 events the 2 days prior to the conference. So it's really Monday through Thursday, but the conference itself is Wednesday and Thursday.
Two
Okay.
pre-conferences.
2 pre-conferences. Okay, let's start on Monday. What's happening on the Monday?
So Monday and Tuesday, we have Finn Golding and Hayden Shaughnessy. They're going to do a Flow Academy. So it's something that they run in primarily Europe. They've done a couple in New York, but primarily in Europe. And really it's around value-based agility. It's a workshop, so it's not going to be Finn and Hayden talking at the audience. It's really going to be, you bring your problems in, and we're going to basically put them on a board, we're going to whiteboard them, and we're going to start to solve some of the issues that you're facing with your transformation.
And they're
Bart, I'm
using
very
their-
disappointed. They don't call problems at Nationwide. They call them challenges.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. But every challenge is an opportunity.
That's true. Come on. Use your Nationwide nice
I know,
now,
I'm trying to
Bart.
Oh,
I've never-
you've been
I've never bu-
acclimated.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I've never bought into that, by the way.
No.
Nationwide nice.
Yeah.
That is called passive aggressiveness.
Exactly. Yes, I have been. Yes, I have been. Because somebody said, oh, that's very Nationwide nice. I went, what the hell is Nationwide nice? And so then I was told at that point.
Yeah.
It was like my second day, so they excused me, I guess. So, okay, your challenge, you got to use some challenges. People don't have problems.
Challenges.
Yeah.
Challenges.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for correcting me. You're so Nationwide nice.
Okay, so they're going to have these workshops. You bring in,
Yes. So what Finn and Hayden have asked for is that everyone that signs up for that 2-day workshop on the 4th and 5th, that they provide a list of the challenges that they are facing with their transformations at their organizations. And what they'll do is they'll basically combine them all, anonymize them, and then that's what we'll work through as part of that activity, part of those workshops.
okay, so is there a specific area that it's like targeted at? Could anybody in an organization, any department in an organization?
It's really geared
No?
toward leaders, so it's really
Okay.
geared toward senior leadership and leaders. But what we're seeing, it is open to all. It's not they're trying to exclude one group or the other, but really when we think about some of the things that Finn and Hayden are doing with their clients worldwide, they do work a lot with leadership.
I think a lot of it's based off of their book, right?
It's what- they have-
Teaching the principles
which
out of their
book?
book.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they've got 2 books published today. Flow is the first. Second was 12 Steps to Flow. And then the third is coming out later this year, which is the theme is more value-based agility. But I think their approach is, as the name says, how do you create flow? And very much consistent with Agile principles of smaller batches of work. But I think they start to take their ideas a step further than where a lot of people are today. So it's really thought-provoking and interesting way of doing work, and I think people get a lot of value out of it.
Oh, that's good.
I would also say, Hayden Shaughnessy has written many, many books besides just the flow books around. He's got a book that was published many years ago around Elastic Enterprise. He talks about ecosystems. Finn and Hayden, they do a lot, and that's to Charlie's point. When we look at what's in flow, it really to me is business agility version 2.0.
It is,
and it's just very. I've been pushing to see if we can bring a team into Nationwide and just take their ideas and turn that and try that on a team, just experiment, because I feel like that would be a much easier way to get up and running in this, in the agility world.
Yeah.
So
At the level they talk about it, done properly, it eliminates the silos in large organizations
Yep.
to create
That's
flow
correct.
at an enterprise level.
and business and IT are seamless. They're working together.
That's the whole thing about business agility. It's another buzzword, I realize, but the way that we've been talking about it, if you've been to any of the meetups and seen Bart preach about it, you'll see it is the
Do you get on your
future,
soapbox? And
the future of Agile. It is.
I do look at it,
Yeah.
to Brian's point too, I do look at it as so I kind of, when I actually went into IT, so I was in sales, and when I popped in the AOL disk and saw the internet, I'm like, okay, I'm going to school for that. This is many years ago. So, but I actually see
you
agility.
gave it away, Bart, when you said popped in the
Yeah.
desk.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
I'm not the youngest. So,
And I said I was the old guy.
exactly. But yeah, so I actually see agility. So I see a lot of companies, and I give Brian a lot of credit because he actually, when we first met, Brian had already surveyed, of course, because Brian's very thorough. If anyone that doesn't know Brian is probably the most thorough, organized person that I've ever met. But Brian had already surveyed 22 companies in Columbus, and all of them are going through transformation. So we're all, and what's interesting is you have these companies that come into these meetups that we do, and they're all facing similar issues, similar
Correct.
challenges. So it's just the idea of, let's talk about these, let's build a community, let's talk about these, let's maybe try it,
Yeah.
here's some best practices, here's some things that have worked for another organization, and see if that helps their organization move forward.
I'd say it's even more than challenges, right? Organizations are struggling everywhere as we talk about, trying to get transformations out of the technology departments, out of IT. There's still battles between the business and technology
Yep, that's
everywhere you
right.
look. And those 22 companies in town, we have relationships among the three of us with a lot of these companies, and so we've kind of heard some of the inside stories about what's happening. And a lot of people do say the same kind of stories about there's just trouble working together. They don't know how to, funding models, HR models, the enablers that could create greater agility are these kind of the silos that stop things from working together. So we get people to talk together. We create flow between the different divisions. It's not just about creating technology solutions. We have to get everyone to work together. So that's part of what our passion is. And I was gearing up to tease you again, Bart, about my favorite quote of yours that we often hear you say at the meetup group, and it's that business agility is the future of Agile. It's going to be bigger than the internet.
It is. I think it is.
We think about how many companies around the world have waste, right? You think about lean waste analysis, and you can point to every company where somebody's sitting around waiting, or there's something blocked, or somebody spent 18 months building a solution that ends up becoming shelfware. Billions of dollars are wasted.
Yep.
Perhaps $1 trillion is wasted. And if
Exactly.
they had better communication, if they used agile processes, and let's just say it for real, some common sense, probably save $1 trillion on the planet.
And one of the reasons basically in my defense, why I say it's bigger than the internet,
Yeah.
because I think about the internet, what's improving at the internet is obviously the infrastructure is getting better, the speeds are getting better. But when you look at agility, I feel like we're very early on at agility, and it's going to continue to iterate.
It is.
And there is no end. It's always going to be, you're always going to be looking for an improvement in your process, an improvement basically in the thinking in the organization, an improvement in basically building those practices within every part of your organization, which
that's
we all
why
know is
you
a challenge.
strive for relentless improvement.
Exactly.
Yep.
Just using those safe things.
Oh my God!
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my God! I
That's
used
one.
the-
That's one
Woo!
pillar. One pillar of the House of Lean.
So Flow Academy is a great complement to the overall business agility theme. So I think people will get some real practical knowledge of how to start to apply the principles and be able to take that back to their organizations.
Okay.
Now, I think one other thing I'd like to bring about the conference, though, is that we've aligned with the Business Agility Institute. So they're an organization that is promoting business agility worldwide and literally building communities worldwide. So we're very fortunate that we were able to get the rights, I guess you could use that term, to represent, their principles within the Midwestern part of the United States.
Yep.
And so we're going to follow their format for day one. And although we have a 2-day conference, day one, I think they have a very unique format. And
It is unique when
Brian is attended,
showed
so
me
maybe
that.
Brian can
I went
talk
to a
about
couple
it.
of them.
Brian.
They, the Evan Laybourne deserves some huge credit here in our talk today because he selflessly gives to that institute.
Right.
It's unbelievable. He puts on, I think there's 4 conferences in September alone around the world. It's like bounced around between Singapore and Australia, all over the place, spreading the love about business agility. It's
I'm sorry,
amazing.
did you want to go check one of those out and I'll go with you?
Yeah, let's give him a call.
It's
Maybe
Hong Kong
we
this week.
I'd volunteer over there to help run
Okay,
the
yeah,
conference.
me too, totally.
Evan's been really great to us,
Yes.
and the Business Agility Institute has a format. I went to a couple of conferences in New York City. The annual kind of global conference is in New York in March, and it's right in Times Square in a fairly small hotel, and the format is really exciting. It's like everyone raves about the format, and I heard about it in advance. I was like, everyone goes to a conference and it's always the same. There's too many tracks of content. You can barely remember what you learned, and it's overwhelming.
It is.
And so there's something really refreshing about this focus of 3 themes, an executive theme with 3 speakers, and they tell short, meaningful, concise stories that are powerful. And so you're hearing from the people who have actually lived in the front lines, the executives that have actually lived these stories of creating agility in their organizations. And then after they all have done like a 20-minute talk, they get back on stage for a panel. So the audience gets to ask everyone questions. And then instead of moving on to the next topic, they do something they call a deep dive. And so here you have a choice about whether you wanted to stay at a table and have a deeper conversation with the people that you're there with and actually experience and learn from other people that are there, or you can go and follow one of the speakers to somewhere around inside the conference and actually ask more personal questions face-to-face with the person. Or they have a space where you can go and just sort of chill for a little bit and literally read the books that they recommended, or just have hallway conversations, and they create space for this learning. And so they do that 3 different times with 3 different themes: the executive theme, thought leaders, industry theme, and practitioners. And so you get a different perspective about business agility through every layer of an organization, if you will. And you come away with just a huge amount of knowledge. It was refreshing. It was amazing to actually kind of go and listen to all these stories. And you hear from the people that have actually done it, the people who have built agility at Barclays, at Target, Walmart, amazing speakers to tell their stories, and you're hearing just like frontline stuff is really good. So we're modeling that format.
But that's the second
That's
part,
the first
No, that's
day
day
of
one.
the conference. So we're modeling the Business Agility Institute for day 1 of the conference.
which is Wednesday, just so we
Yes,
don't confuse
November
anybody.
6th.
On Wednesday,
So
November 6th.
November
Yep.
6th.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then day 2 is a more traditional conference format, not quite as overwhelming, but still plenty of choices on all of the topics and themes that you'd expect at a business agility
That's right.
conference.
Yep. And so we talked about our speakers. We started to go down that path.
Please.
So we're going to actually, our first keynote is going to be Sanjeev Augustine, who's the CEO of Lightspeed. So
Nice job on that name, because I would have just, I would have had to refer to.
That's okay. Actually, Bart and I have had a long relationship with Sanjeev and Lightspeed. They do a great job. We've worked with them
Absolutely.
on multiple times at Nationwide. We're now working with them at Huntington. And they're a smaller but well-respected Agile consulting firm.
Oh, okay.
And Sanjeev is a great speaker. He's actually going to bring a second person, Amber King, who formerly worked with Capital One, and Capital One has a long history of agility and business agility, and she was also involved with Capital One Labs, which that's an interesting story. I'll let her tell it at the conference.
Go women.
Yeah.
Right?
So they're going to be our keynotes to kick off the conference. And then the afternoon of day one, we'll have Mick Kirsten, who's the CEO of TaskTop. He's the author of the book Project to Product.
That's right.
It's a very interesting book about how do you shift from a project-based mentality to more of a product value stream type way of doing work, organizing teams and work in that fashion. And then day three, Mick and Finn, who are going to do the Flow Academy on the 4th and 5th, will be our speakers on the second day.
Yep.
In addition to all the tracks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to start off, have an opening keynote, and then it sounds like you have one during lunch?
It's right after lunch.
Right after lunch?
It'll be
and
right before the Agility Thought Leaders presentation that Brian referred to earlier.
Okay. And then,
Yeah, so 2
And then you
keynotes
have-
on the first day and then another keynote on the second day.
Yep.
oh, okay.
So you have Sanjeev and Amber kicking off. You have the executive part theme, lunch, Mick giving his second keynote, then the second.
Thought leaders
yep.
and then the practitioners.
Yep. That'll be day one.
Okay. And that sounds like
And
jam-packed.
everyone hears everything. So it's in the big auditorium,
Except if you're standing.
breaks and food. Yeah, unless you got stuck
So you
in
can
the
still
center.
hear.
Big discount for those standing room only.
We'll bring them coffee if they're standing.
Okay, that's nice of you. Yeah, you guys are gonna. I think I told you that you're gonna have to have volunteers that are like, go sit next to that dude. You're gonna have to go sit, because people
Yeah.
they like to spread out.
And Elizabeth, I do want to thank you for that because actually,
There's common sense in
we-
a lot of that.
absolutely. So we started, and I want to thank you because actually your help with the especially the volunteer count. So we are starting to recruit volunteers for the conference. So
Registration table and people asking questions and not knowing where the bathrooms are. We're going to have
Yeah.
that covered.
Yeah, good. You can be like men or women because you're right there.
Fawcett
you.
Center is a great place to host a conference. We're excited about
It
that.
is. It is. And you may run into, Gene or Ryan Day this
right.
November.
yeah.
They'll be all over in that area. Okay, so anybody listening to this, let's give them a website to go to one, check out more information, or to register.
Yeah. BusinessAgilityMidwest.com.
Okay, that's it, that easy.
Yeah, 3 words.
3 words. No dots or anything, just
Midwest.com.
Okay. And what's on the website? Like, is it pretty easy to follow here?
Yeah, I look at, we kind of modeled it after many of the conference websites that are out there today. So it's, you've got your speakers and your schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have some information around hotels for our out-of-town visitors and our out-of-town attendees. And then we also have we are going to be using the Whova app, so that's going to be, we're putting that together right now. Are you happy with it?
Elizabeth's pretty excited about
Yeah.
that. She loves the app.
I just was on it this morning, creating the name badges for Get With It that already happened.
Nice. Yeah. Wink.
Very nice. Wow, look at that.
Did you like that?
Back to the future.
So,
But one thing we did fail to mention, we talked about there's 2 pre-conference
Yeah,
events.
we did.
The second one is Women in Agile, which will be the afternoon of the 5th.
oh,
Right.
that's huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Modeled
Charlie,
after
why are
our
you
Agile
holding that
Alliance
in?
friends. Yeah.
Wait, I'm the one who brought it up. Why are you giving me a hard time?
Yeah.
So there's a Women in Agile,
Women in Agile.
and
on,
what day is it?
On the 5th in the afternoon.
The 5th
that's
of
November
Wednesday
5th.
from 1 to 5.
Yep.
And is everything at the Fawcett that
It
week?
is.
Okay,
It is.
so everything is at the Fawcett Center.
Just show up.
Just show
and
up.
you'll be good.
Okay.
Yep. And the ticketing on BusinessAgilityMidwest.com is an a la carte model. So if you wanted to go to 1 or 2 or the full conference, everything, it's all available.
Just Flow Academy,
Yep.
Women in Agile event. It's all separate.
Okay. What about sponsors? Like, most people want to know if there's going to be somebody there sponsoring. You guys have sponsors.
We do have sponsors.
We do have sponsors.
You do.
We're very lucky to have sponsors.
Can you throw them out there?
So we're still signing contracts on some of them, so I don't really want to talk about the ones that we haven't finalized the contracts, but we have Lightspeed's going to be a sponsor of ours. We're going to have, we'll
LeanDog.
have
LeanDog is a sponsor.
LeanDog is a sponsor. Agile CXO is a sponsor. So one of the things that we wanted to do too, so some of the agreements that we haven't signed, really because this is a regional conference, we're literally looking as a regional conference, we kind of went after some of the larger players in the market. PlanView is another one too. So PlanView is a PPM solution. They're actually moving into product.
Oh my God, Nationwide.
Exactly.
Yep.
They're nationwide.
Yes, at the beginning of the year, right?
That's right. So they're working through that right now.
See, I do pay attention a little bit.
And I got to tell you, working with PlanView at Abbott, I can say that they're probably the best vendor that I've ever worked with, and I was very excited that they were kind of moving down this path, PPM solution to product. They purchased LeanKit not that long ago, John Terry's application.
Oh.
So they actually are bringing that in. They've started to integrate that into the PlanView platform, and so
I creeped on them.
Yeah,
creeped on their
it's great.
website. It's
fantastic.
pretty good.
It is
Yeah.
good. It is good. I think it will really change. It'll really change kind of how we've done things in the past, maybe at Nationwide, once it's implemented. I'm pretty excited about that. So PlanView's a conference sponsor, but we are looking for those regional or national sponsors because we feel like if you have a conference and you're inviting people from out of town to come to the conference in these 11 markets that we're contractually obligated to basically try to bring attendees in from, we want to make sure that we have those larger, if not just local, we'll have some local, but more of the larger regional sponsors.
Okay. So across the country, kind of.
Check the website for the logos.
Yeah.
There you go.
We do add this as we complete the contracts.
No, it's also worth mentioning, we really are just passionate about this stuff. We're not trying to do this conference to make money. We just want to get people in the community showing up to talk about this stuff because we think it's worthwhile. So the conference, if it makes any money at all, is going to be donated to charity or put towards putting together next year's conference. This is not a money maker for us. We are just geeks about agility and are thrilled to be involved in this thing.
Yeah, I was going to mention that you had mentioned it would either go to charity or for next year's conference. So are you shooting for around the same time, or is Bart gonna throw one together in May?
No, there won't be any of that. I've learned. There's no way. I need a year.
We will inspect and adapt.
Elizabeth, will be up to you. It's being outsourced to you.
Yeah, whatever you want to host.
What's your schedule look like, Elizabeth?
That's so funny. It's painful. It's painful doing a conference.
It is.
Do you think next year you're gonna look to grow or keep it kind of in this?
I mean, that's an awesome question. We'd love for it to grow. We want it to, take over the Midwest. We kind of snicker amongst ourselves that we stole it from Chicago before they could do it because when everyone says the Midwest, they think Chicago.
Exactly.
Correct.
But now they're going to think about Columbus instead. And so we want to just keep on, if you're a 3-hour drive, we want you at this conference next year. And so we're going to continue to promote the perimeter of Ohio and everywhere we border and try and bring people to the hub of the Midwest and bring the conversation here.
Yeah, a lot of great cities within a 3-hour drive.
Exactly.
That's right. True that. Okay. All right. Who, if anybody has they go to the website. You got to say this 12 times.
Yep.
businessagilitymidwest.com.
That's right.
Is there a contact us, or is Bart's name at the bottom that they
put
click
our cell phones
on?
out there, so.
Yeah, we have our cell phones. We're very accessible.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm
Just
saying.
give me a call.
Email, cell phones.
People have any direct questions
Yeah.
they need to ask, there's a way
Yeah.
for them to get a hold of somebody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And very easy to register.
Okay, and very easy to register. Now, I text Brian all the time, but I'm normally texting through emojis for him to figure it out.
You have to translate, Elizabeth.
Yes. Yes. It's like at Nationwide, somebody yesterday was telling me very technical, and I was like, let me go get my crayons and construction paper because what did you just say to me? So yeah, you have to put it, I like to call it kindergarten terms.
You're lucky I'm able to communicate at all without scribbling on a whiteboard right now.
Oh.
Got one right behind you, Brian.
Yeah. You can.
Our audience can't. I don't know if my audio cable will reach, but.
No, but that thing. Oh, see? Do you see Darren over there?
Yeah.
Like Darren gives me the heads up of our time.
Yeah.
So, okay, we have a few minutes left. What do you want to promote? Let's talk about the meetup real quick.
So the meetup is called Columbus Business Agility. It is a monthly meetup at the Fawcett Center in the Monroe Room. And we encourage anyone who wants to attend, please attend if you want to learn a little bit about business agility. We are starting to put together our speakers for as we go into October and then into next year. So we've kind of, and I want to give a shout out to Justin Foley from
Shout it
Westerville
out.
Web.
Shout
because
it out.
I actually presented at his meetup.
Westerville Web.
And it's fantastic. I love the format, which is more social, and I think having a shorter presentation and then the longer the main event. So we've actually adopted Justin's format going forward, and I think that's been well received. So
A little bit more casual.
yeah, a little more casual.
Yeah.
It gives
Gonna
people a little more
direct
time.
questions and that kind
He's
of
very
stuff.
chill.
Exactly. Yeah, Justin's a great guy. But we wanted to have so we've used that format. So we're
Justin, Get With It podcast. Just making sure he downloads, you know what I mean?
Well, while he's listening to this, he will pick up the phone and call you, I'm sure.
That's right. That's right.
But it is the idea, though, that we are, look for those main event speakers. Unfortunately, I'm spending, in that smaller presentation, I'm spending a lot of time right now promoting the conference, but I will stop talking, hopefully, at this next one in October will be the last one I talk about the conference.
Oh, we've had some good speakers come through, too.
We have,
Covered
absolutely.
Agile HR topics recently, right?
Yep.
We've had a whole bunch of things, systems thinking, all kinds of different topics that show up at our conference, and people from a wide variety of businesses. And so the networking is really cool too. You're talking to people about what are you doing with transformations in your company, and all of a sudden that hallway conversation that happens at the meetup is great.
And some of those topics tie into day 2 of the conference too. So we'll have multiple tracks on day 2, but things like Agile and HR, Agile for supply chain, for marketing, case studies and practical experience. So a lot of good speakers and content on day 2 also.
Yeah.
That's great. That is great. So the meetup is on. Are they on Tuesdays
Oh, you stumped
or
them.
Thursdays?
Yeah,
I did.
It's usually on Tuesdays or Wednesdays is how we schedule it with the Fawcett
Okay.
Center.
Okay.
You go to meetup.com, you search for Columbus Business
yeah.
Agility.
They're there.
Second week, either Tuesday or Wednesday.
When is this being brought? October 7th. Do you happen to know the
It's
October
after
date?
October 7th.
Fantastic.
All right, nailed that one.
Sorry, I don't have my. Sorry
Let me
about that.
see because I have it.
Just download the Meetup app or
It
go to the
is
website.
October 8th, so tomorrow, October Business Agility Meetup at the Fawcett Center. It's on my calendar.
Awesome.
See,
Hopefully
I'm
you're
not
Tremendous
lying.
supporter. Thank you.
I am. So, October 8th, and it looks like it starts at 6.
6 to 8. That's correct.
There's a really important question that needs to be asked. Is there booze and food provided, or is it a BYOB?
It's foods provided.
So beer is a BYOB.
BYOB.
Okay. You
Sorry.
can at the Fawcett Center, though. So you got to nix that. Flasks are okay to bring. Nobody has to know.
Roadies.
Yep.
Elizabeth has the inn at the Fawcett Center, so she'll
I
get you out,
do.
she'll get you out of trouble.
I can get you out of trouble at the Fawcett Center. That is true. That is true. So, all right. Now, one last question. Is parking provided
Yes, so there will be a parking pass provided to all attendees.
for the meetup and the conference?
Yes, we have
So-
one parking pass for all the meetups through the end of the year, and
Oh,
then there will be
okay.
one for all the attendees we'll send out beforehand.
Okay, because they have great parking. They have a lot right there attached to the building. It's great parking, but you
Super
do have
convenient.
to pay. But normally they, if it's a big enough conference,
Yep,
they
it's covered.
So it'll be free parking for everybody.
free
Yeah.
parking for everyone, meetup and conference,
Yep.
Yes.
and the workshops.
Yeah, that's correct.
So,
Yep.
okay, perfect. All right. What else? Anything else? Business Agility Midwest.com.
That's right.
Woohoo.
Okay. Or meetup, and then it's Columbus Business Agility.
Yep.
Okay. Damn, I got that all right. And it's really early in the morning.
Nailed it.
What time is this? Like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm already. Look
Waking
at
up.
Darren. Poor Darren. I love Darren. So, all right. Anything else? Any shout out or anything else?
We should mention our friend Brett Buchanan. Brings
Yeah,
the product
absolutely.
voice to our conference. He runs the Lift conference. He's been a big supporter of everything that we're doing, and he's running a workshop on day 2.
Yep.
There's a whole host of published authors, local famous, regional famous. We have a lot of amazing speakers coming to our second day conference. We should be publishing all those names on the website any day now, so
Yeah.
make sure to check them out. Lots of great content at our conference.
I
Thank
agree.
you.
Brett is awesome. Heart Brett.
He is great.
And Finn and Hayden are bringing lots of copies of their books, and Mick's book will be available. So a lot of good opportunities to.
Are they single?
I don't know. You'll have to ask them.
Come and
Curious.
find out.
I'm just curious. Yeah, right?
Exactly.
Serious question.
That's not a question I would normally ask.
It's like one of those HR things you're not supposed to ask, but I will. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for coming in this morning. And Brian had to drive from Buffalo.
I do it every week. It's no
I
problem.
know, but you didn't get into like 1, and then
Oh, yeah.
then you had to be like Dad.
Yeah,
1 in the
yeah.
morning. Then he had to do Dad shit.
Weekend dad
and
stuff is really tough,
Yeah.
but it's worth it.
Then he's off again on Sunday night.
Got to run the transformation, man.
There you go. So, all right. Well, thank you again, and we look forward to seeing everybody at the conference. Right?
Thank you,
so
Elizabeth.
much. Thank you,
All right.
Elizabeth.
Really appreciate you
Thank
having us. Thank you.
Thank you.